Anime people, it is time. Anime cookout, grills hot. We're talking about all your favorite animes. Um, I guess we can start off. We always do Monday, Vinland Saga. Um, what did you think of it, Andrew? What was were you feeling it? The episode of war,
Well, I mean, like as far as war, more like skirmish. I don't know, really a war, you
of
know.
strategy.
So yeah, man. So as always, Saturday we get involved, we get jumped in there. Vinland Saga kicking it off. It was a good episode. It was by far one of the moderate to good episodes. So it wasn't like groundbreaking, right?
Yeah,
But it had a really good feel to it. It was real good. I told you that they were gonna save everything until these last episodes, like
yeah,
everything, and like the way they did these two episodes, they could have done the entire season, but that's neither here nor there, right? So we're already past that point.
yeah,
So Clute finally makes it to land. The Catil, we finally learn from Snake that Catil is not actual Catil. What is it? Iron Fist, right? Iron
yeah,
Fist Catil. He's not the actual Iron Fist Catil, which we kind of already knew and saw. I think I called it like maybe about like 5 episodes back when we were first like really introduced into him. Like, hey, I don't think this is the real dude. Remember, I was like,
yeah,
like he may be like a fraud, right? He may be lying about it because let me tell you, man, like he didn't exhibit any of those things like more and the less like he's seen war, seen battle, especially when his son was chopping down the soldiers when they were about to get arrested, right? Like his dad was like freaking out, and Thorgil like pretty much knew it was either fight and kill or we're gonna be killed, right? So he was like he knew that he needed what he needed to do was to kill those people, get off the island, and get back home to be safe, right?
yeah.
So now the little historical context on what's going on. So the soldiers on the beach shot their arrows to the Klute's ships, right? And then Klute's ship was able to shoot their arrows and then hit and mark those guys on the beach. Now, how is that possible, right? So, well, one of the things it wasn't just that the engineered better. It's like remember Clute is now integrating the English into or the Saxons into his army and like the technology, right? And so what many people don't know is like there's certain archers in the Saxon army that were called longbowmen, and they were specialized in shooting great distances, right? And so obviously being part of that technology, and especially him having them like let's say they're like more like the Marines of of his army. They're like
Yeah.
he's surrounded by Marines. They're a little bit of combination of everything, right? So they have all those marksman skills, those combat skills, those strategy skills that you want, right? So with that being said, that's why they were able to knock the guys in the sand versus the sand soldiers getting them on the boat, right? So they had longbowmen. Then he did mention that then there were the Jogans, which are like the now if now like if the regular 100 guys were like Marines, right? The Jongan are like more in the line of like uh Delta Force, right? They're like
Yeah.
the Delta Force of Clute's army, right? So they're the guys that you call in to like if you need to wipe out an entire island, right? They're the guys that you're gonna call in to wipe out
Yeah.
that island, right? So that's why whenever Thorgil mentions to his dad, like, "Hey, there's 100," like Clute only brought 100 army, and they were laughing. They were like, "Oh, we got like 300," He was laughing. They're calling them. So he said, "Them, they're fools, right?" He didn't mean Clute and his army. He
No.
meant
Yeah.
all those guys around him
Yeah.
that were celebrating. He was like, "Those are a bunch of fools, man," because he knew they were all fodder. He knew they were just gonna go there and die, right?
Yeah.
He knew that none of them were gonna make it, right? So that's what his whole plan was, right? Thorgil's plan was let me throw all of these, peasants, foot
Yeah.
soldiers, whatever, right? Not even foot soldiers, farmers, right at the front gate, because it's gonna have all the eyes looking at the front, while with him, a specialist, is gonna sneak up behind and try assassinating, what's his name, Clue, right, King Clue. But we know, of course, it's not gonna work out, right? I mean, either what's his name, Thorfinn's uncle, um,
Oh, Floki.
yeah, no, not Floki. Floki wasn't his uncle. The other guy,
Oh,
Thor something,
Thorkill. Thorkill.
Thorkill, yeah,
Yeah.
Thorkill, yeah, yeah. We know Thorkill gonna just like show up out of nowhere, right? Yeah, exactly. Throwing that massive axe handle
Yeah.
everywhere, right? So like, our we know that Thorgil is not gonna, you know, successfully land anything or do
Yeah.
anything significant, right? Or hey, he may have just betrayed his father and just was like recognizes Klut's strength and like, hey, I'm part of the army now,
Yeah.
like, so it could be kind of like that kind of thing. So we're not 100% sure. Then on the other flip side, of course, Thorfinn running away, like, like we knew he would, right? Like, oh, peace, no war, right? So I mean, it's tiresome with them, man. It's like, yeah, it's just tiresome. And then, but it goes back to like you have to watch it as a drama, not an
Yeah.
action. So I watched it as a drama, and then I got to remind myself, right? This is called Vinland Saga, right? Like the saga of Finland, right? So it's not Thorfinn, you know, Thorfinn and the Great Knights, right?
Yeah.
It's not that, right? So it's like everybody's story,
Yeah.
right? It's everyone's story mixed together, and then it creates this grand story at the end, right? So we know that Thorfinn is somewhat of our protagonist, right? But it's not that's why it's not really center focus on him. So that's how dramas are built, right? So dramas are built that way. Did it have action? Yeah, man. It was a good episode, man. I liked it. It was really good. It was one of my favorite ones this year, right? They're like not like in
Yeah.
Vinland Saga, right? Not ever,
I
right?
was yeah, I figured that. Yeah.
It was like no. Like it was a really good episode. It was like it moved the story ahead. We're getting some some fire in the between. Now, like I knew they were going to do this at the end. They are doing it at the end. They're jam packing us. They're rushing everything. This could have been episode like I don't know, man, 10, right? Like we could have had this episode 10 and had like a great story afterwards, but no, we're coming to this crescendo of this whole like for future context, like they Thorfinn leaves and spreads into different lands and stuff like that. So that's where we're headed, and it's coming to that end. So, am I glad it's over? Yeah, man, because I want the real story to happen, not this crazy venture that we have been on with them. So, I give it out of 5. I want to say it was about a 3.5, 3.7, because the action was there. I mean, it showed us, man, people's heads getting lopped off, cut in half. It was
Yeah.
like
Arrow.
good amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good amount of battle action. I wouldn't call it a war. It was
Yeah.
more the line of a skirmish
Yeah.
because a full out war, it would have been a lot more tactic involved,
Yeah.
right? So this is more like a skirmish, and why all of a sudden what's his name Catil grew a pair of like iron massive cannonballs to go and face the king. Like I don't know, man. Like it's I guess you got to get the story moving, right? That's
Some way
pretty
or
much
another.
where it
Yeah.
was. Yeah. So and then in the end, like when Harmir, her story, her dying and stuff like that, it was a good like drama moment. It was like the symbolism whenever Gardnar Gardnar was dying. It allowed her, because whenever, it was real sad though. Whenever she had her kids in her lap and it hit that big old bump and they didn't wake up, and I was like, oh man, I go, man, those babies are dead, aren't they?
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, that was sad. That was a little tearjerker, man. That was a little tearjerker moment, bro. I was like, oh man, that is rough, man. And then I guess that's what she realized too, that she was dreaming. It wasn't real. It was dream. So, Gunnar was like, hey, you got to go back and tell him bye and stuff like that. And he's like, I'll be waiting because she's 1 foot out the door too.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, man, like it was a good episode. I liked it. It was something that you could entertain yourself today. So it wasn't a bad start to the week. Let me just put it like that. It was not a bad start. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
man, what'd you think?
I mean, I agree. It had moments. It had some fighting. It had some storytelling. It had the threading the needle that we like. The finding out about Katil, finding out about the strategy of each side and everything, and then you're seeing a lot more of each character. I felt like the brother not being able to swim, and he's like feeling like he basically let down his older brother because he couldn't make it.
Ah,
Yeah, but we
look,
already knew that.
Thorgil was not counting on
No, I know.
Olaf to do or Omen to do
Yeah,
anything. Yeah, he was like
it's
he,
just
he didn't even. You notice he didn't even look back to see if
no.
his brother was
He was
alive. Like no, he didn't even like
no, I
Thorfinn
know.
didn't
He
even look
just
back. Like he just Thorgil didn't even look back. He was just like
he's like,
he's straight dead on, right? He's
he's
like
like, I
he
already know
didn't
that boy coming.
yeah, he didn't even check the side to see if his brother made it, right?
No.
He was just like, like he died on the way or he went back, whichever one, So, dang, dude, that's rough. That's a rough time.
Yeah,
That's a rough time, man. But
yeah.
yeah,
That
so yeah, go ahead, go ahead, go
I
ahead.
agree with like the 3.5 though. I think that was a good for it. It wasn't anything crazy, but it also gave enough to where it was an enjoyable episode for sure.
Absolutely, it was. It was a really good
Yeah.
episode. Yeah, like I said, it was by far one of the better episodes in Vinland this season. Of course, I think. Oh man, what was it? Without clicking on the video, I think it was 2 episodes back. With the whole Gunnar story ending, man, I think that was like by far the best one of this entire season, man. It was just like it was good. It was good by all measures. It was really good. It was a real good episode. So, all right, man. Well, Vinland Saga season 2. I think we're on 19. Is that right? 19.
I think so. Yeah, sounds about
Yeah,
right.
I think we got about 2 more left. Let me double check. Nope, we're on episode. That was Vinland Saga 1. Yeah, 19. So yeah, I think we got about maybe 5 more if they go to 24. If not, I think we're left with like 2 or 3 left. For the end of the series. So, or at least this season. Sorry, I said series. Sorry, this season. So, Vinland Saga season 2, episode 19. If you haven't been already caught up, you got a lot of episodes to watch. So I don't envy you. Go watch it. It's long. Let me tell you that. It's long. So, all right. So let's move on to Mashle. Mashle, man, it was. I mean, it's gonna go down on the listing for tomorrow. Definitely by far, it was a recap. It was 6.5. Season 1, episode 6.5. Why they have a recap in the middle of the season 1? Bro, I don't know. That threw me off for I gotta check the seasons. Maybe there's a festival going on in Japan and everybody need to take a break this week or next week coming up. I don't know. But yeah, I was like, why are they throwing a mid-cap recap in the middle of a season 1? But I do have to say, if you want to watch something funny, watch this recap. It was hilarious, man. Like I was genuinely laughing throughout this day because it was so darn funny. Yeah, go ahead.
For a recap, it was entertaining
Yes,
because it gave you all the funny moments of Mashle, and
right.
but then it was like they made it into a letter, like so it was like
Oh my
him writing
god,
it.
no, no! When his pops was reading the letter and was like, What happened? You just moved on to the next song. You moved on to the next topic, and because it's like it's told through Mashle's like writing the letter, Mashel's remembering these things,
Yeah.
right? But he's not actually pinning these things down in
Yeah.
the letter. And he's like, he's having this one-sided conversation, you know? And that's what made it the hilarious of this episode, man. It was just like there's a point where he goes, he goes, how will you consider this guy your friend? And he goes, wait, just watch. And then he goes, what? Did the letter just answer me back? Dude, I'm telling you, dude, that was comedic. That was comedic timing and genius. Like to have something like that. It was a good one. Like I said, if you want to laugh, really good, jump on this Smash Show episode. It's a recap. Good thing because it does an okay job recapping. It leaves a
Yeah.
little bit of details out here and there, but it's a good overall recap of what's going on in the story. Which isn't much, you know, like to be quite honest, it isn't much. It's not a really big thinker. You're not gonna scratch your head. They tell you everything up front, you know, and it's Harry Potter remix anime style with a little bit of One Punch Man and a little bit of like just hilarious animations tropes. So, you know, jump in there. It's funny. It's a 6.5 episode 6.5, so it's a recap. I personally, I would give it like it's a good 3.7, 3.8 episode, man, for me.
Yeah.
It's not quite in the fours, you know, because it's a recap. Nobody can really give a recap of top tier, but like definitely in the high threes in my book. It's a good one. It was a good one. You
Yeah.
got anything else on Mashal? I mean, it
Nah,
really, yeah, it really wasn't anything other than
it was
a
a cream
recap.
puff filler episode. That's what it was.
Yeah,
Man.
super filler episode, man.
Yeah.
Super filler episode. All right, man. So we jump in there to Doctor Stone season 3, episode 7, Ray of Despair, Ray of Hope. Uh, man, what can I say? It was a good episode. It made up, definitely made up for last
Yeah.
week's episode. Um, like it just we discovered like the stone beam is like you could use it anytime. It's nothing like something that was supposed to be like a mysterious end. And just what makes me so mad is that when I said, oh, we don't know nothing about this villain and what he does and everything, and then bam, and like the next episode we're
Mysterious
learning about
boy.
everything.
Everything else is like, wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh damn, well, throw eggs on my face, man. Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh man. So uh they said we're introducing to new characters. Did I exit out of the article? I think I did. Okay, so they said they're introduced 3 new characters, which I personally did not see the 3 new characters. But like I guess like they're there. We were introduced to 1 new character, and she is the most beautiful girl on the island who joins their team, of course, right? Because you know, uh, and let me ask you, do you get like sort of like a RPG role playing game vibe that they've been doing lately?
Yes.
Like,
The
right?
farming, I told you the farming when they did the farming thing, and it was kind of like Minecraft feeling.
Right?
And then
Yeah.
now with this thing, like just the way that they're doing it, it's like they switched it a bit on this one. Like it's
Yeah, well, yeah, this whole season,
yeah,
like they didn't do that last season. They
no,
didn't have these little. They had like at the very bottom, right, when they introduced somebody, it was like a long scripted portion, right, and
yeah,
they'll tell you like, oh, this is so and so character, this is their genius at this, and that's it. And now it's like an art, like you're watching the cutscenes of an RPG. You know,
yeah.
like you're like, oh, they'll introduce the character, and then they'll throw up a little text box, and then they'll put in the yeah. I
Level
was like,
56
yeah,
of
it's really weird, man.
yeah.
I mean, I guess that's the style now. Like,
Maybe
I
that's what's in,
guess.
and they're trying it out.
Well, I think they're committed to it, man, because they've
Well,
been
yeah, I
doing it
mean,
all
yeah,
season. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah. So they said that we're. Oh, here it is. It was a Crunchyroll's news. So her name is New World. Okay. So we're introduced to her. She is oh, never mind. This is about okay, never mind. I was trying to get her name, but I can't get her name because All it's giving me is like the background of who's voicing her, who drew her, and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, they're not giving me her name. That's kind of weird. Okay, yeah. So yeah, but we learned that she is the most beautiful girl on the island. She Risui. Yeah, okay. I guess her name is Risui. Nah, that's the actress's name.
her name is Amaryllis.
Okay, Emerald. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Crunchyroll dropped it.
Okay, yeah. So, oh, I see it right here. Okay, yeah, yeah. I see it right here. Amaryllis. Okay, new character Amaryllis. I thought that was like the island's name.
Yeah,
The island was called Amaryllis. Like I was like the way they worded it in the article, I thought it was like the island's name Amaryllis. So she ends up like I guess she's like a mentalist, like or a con artist. There we go. So are we like now getting this Ocean 13, Ocean's 12 vibe from what's
yes,
going on? Like they got
yeah.
a mentalist. Let's back it. So they got the scientists, the brains. They have the mentalists. They have the what
There's
was
a
it?
defense and vision, I think.
Yeah,
Vision
exactly,
cabinet.
right. And then they have the person most familiar with the island, right?
Yeah,
Now they just picked up the con artist, right? Because she was conning them, right? So I don't know. We're getting into the Ocean 11's vibe, I guess when you watch enough TV and anime, you start to pick out things. So
yeah,
that was crazy. So they also give out the two new characters in the concept. It's the strongest guy on the island as well, and then they also reveal like the king as well. But like I never saw the king, nor did I see the strongest guy on the island. So I guess they just like tweeted it out those things. But at the same time, I guess next episode we're gonna be introduced on hopefully we get to figure out what this beam thing is, because it's kind of nuts that they're able to turn it off, turn it back on, or was his dad behind the beam the whole entire time? Maybe his dad's really a mad scientist and he doesn't know, and this whole
yeah,
time he thought his dad was doing good, and in reality, his dad was the one like setting off this beam because he wanted to start his own new world. Like hey, throw those theories out there on Dr. Stone. That's what I'm talking about. Like, hey, like throw them in the comments, man. What do y'all think? Uh, without reading the manga, because I
yeah, yeah.
know you can just go
Cheaters.
to the manga, right? Let's have a little fun here, guys. Let's have a little fun. So, but yeah, it was overall a good episode. Um, they discovered that the island, the beam, stone beam, isn't just something that's happened phenomenal, right? Or like one big
Yes.
accident, right? It's something they're able to control. Is petrified into stone, and that which just leaves Sengoku, the oh man, I forgot her name. The blonde chick that's the warrior, the princess of the island, and then the mentalist, and then the new guy. No name, right? That's the only reason why I remember his name is because it's no name. But so it just leaves them four. They find Amaryllis on the island. She's being pursued because she's the most beautiful woman on the island. But then they also, as they get closer and closer to the king, who's actually, or the master, who is actually able to control the beam and turn people, petrify people. So we're gonna see, or hey, maybe, and this is me just throwing it off the top of the wall because it's kooky science stuff, right? So maybe the beam is always on or a perpetual beam, and this
Hmm.
guy's able to control it by like moving a device and
Yeah.
focusing the beam onto one portion, right? So I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there. I know we can go read the manga and just find out
Yeah.
for ourselves, right? So I know, but let's have a little fun, right? So overall it was a good episode. I want to give it in the fours. I really do, but I'm gonna have to say 3.8. 3.8. It's more in that style. It wasn't like overly good. It was okay. It was okay. It wasn't like, oh man, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we're gonna find out. Yeah, So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Like, so
No,
what you thought, man? What was up with Dr. Stone this week?
I saw it first out of everything, so I was trying to like sit here and be like, yeah, it was a good episode. But and I at a when I first watched it, I gave it a 4. But as I started watching other animes, I was like, okay. I rewatched it again, and then I was like, it had moments, like funny moments, like when she hugged. Man, I always forget the main character's name. Oh my god.
Oh, Sengu.
Yeah, Sengu, and he was like, she's like, I love you, and he's just like, I don't care. Like
Yeah,
his
right.
face, like he's like he did not care. But they
Yeah.
had funny moments. I mean, everybody being petrified on the ship, kind of stuff. Like we still don't know now, but there was a lot of like pointless talking of like the stuff with the tear gas and this and that. It was just like a lot. Like I mean, I get the science part, so that was kind of cool. But like the seashells turning, getting the hair, and finding a
Oh,
microscope, making a microscope as something and checking for the pollen and all that. But it was good. It was better than what we've been getting of them just on the ship.
right.
But yeah, it for sure did better than what I thought it was gonna be for sure.
Like, did you notice how like all their crude, like how can I say, their crude equipment, it looked like all primitive,
Yeah.
like got an upgrade. Did you notice that? Like the ship was all like raggedy looking like 2 episodes back. And all of a sudden it's like nice, sleek, almost like modern shit,
It was like one of them from One Piece. I was looking at it, I was like, I've seen
Right?
that ship
Yeah. I
before.
was like, what? Like, I like, are we supposed to just believe like they just slowly ironed out everything,
Yeah,
like made it
exactly.
look all good? Yeah. So, it's a good one, man. Dr. Stone is fun. That's all I can say. Dr. Stone is fun. It's good to have that imagination. I liked it. It was a good one. But as far as it being like super up there, I can't say that it was. It's more like in the line of a 3.7. It's good, but not
Yeah.
like great. So, but it was a good watch though. I liked it. It was a good watch. It was fun to watch. All right, man. Well, that's Dr. Stone season 7, right? Yes,
Or
season 7.
season
Yeah, yeah.
2?
Because no, no, am I off?
You said season 7, so I was
Oh,
like,
season 3,
yeah.
Season 3, episode
Yeah.
7.
I
There
was
you
like,
go.
dang, have I missed it, man?
You're like, man, I missed a whole
I
bunch.
was
What
like, hold
are
on,
we
man.
doing
I'm
over
I'm
here?
tripping there.
Yeah, man. My bad, my bad, my bad.
Nah, you good, you good.
So what else came out today? Another good one. It came out not today. It came out Friday. Yeah, Legendary Hero is Dead. If you haven't caught up on that one, go watch it. It's pretty funny. It's a good one. Last week's episode was a good one. It was good to watch. So jump on that one. Another one. Nope, I can't mention this one because it's mature content. Yeah, let me get out of that one real quick. Yeah, let me get out of that one real quick. Yeah, these dubs, are they coming back? Give me a second. Oh, I guess. Oh, I guess it did. Okay, it started again. Shield Hero. So if you haven't seen the Rising of the Shield Hero, season 1 was good. Season 2, like I haven't watched the newer episodes. I think I stopped on I stopped on about 5 right here. So I haven't really got all the way up to 13, but I don't know, man. Season
Not
2
good.
is kind of boring, man. Kind of like all over the place, like to me. But like season 1 was good. Like I liked it. It was what caught me into that whole, because typically I never even watched that whole like legendary stuff.
Yeah.
Legendary isekais. Like it wasn't really my thing, but got me kind of watching it on Shield Hero 2, Shield Hero 1. So go in there, watch it. Let me know what your thoughts are. If it's like, yeah, you agree, it's season 2 is okay, or like, yeah, man, you're missing out. This is why. Let us know in the comments, and then we'll have a discussion over it. So Eden Zero, of course, came out today. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Eden Zero, it's good. I like it. It's a good one. But on top of that, don't forget that you're just watching fairy tales. So in space, that's it's fairy tales in space. Right?
Told you.
I can't. Every time I watch it, I'm like, this is fairy tales, bro. Like we already seen
It's
this.
literally like he stopped fairy tale. Was like, let's do this in space, Dad.
Yes, that's exactly what they say. They say, what's popular? They're like fairy tales. Like every kid loves fairy tales. And they're like, fairy tales in space. Oh, damn, we didn't think of that. So they just jump right in there. So my love story with Yamada Kun and level 999. Go jump on there. They're episode 8. If that happens, that would be girls love it, and they outrank us, so they're gonna definitely vote for that one.
That's gonna be
So
top 10.
yeah, it's gonna be in the top 10.
Yeah.
Don't get no disillusions. It will be there.
Yeah.
Summon to Another World for a second time. Season 1, episode 7 came out. Visiting the basement contentment for a second time. Go in there, watch it. It is your thing. It is your thing. The Galaxy Next Door, good one. This week's episode, I haven't caught the last 2 ones. I've been a little busy, but definitely going to jump in there and finish up the last 2. It's a good story. Jump in there. See Spy Family. They came out. I want to say this is newest one. Okay. Yeah, so episode 25 is out. So jump in there. If you are a Spy Family thing. One Piece just dropped 2 hours ago. Of course, we saved that for tomorrow so that we can give y'all a little good recap for tomorrow. And now we come to today's ending episode. Episode 8, season 1. Now, this was a good one. Like, made up for last week's. No, actually, last week's was a good one too. Yeah. So it was just all around good today, man. I mean, I have to watch this. Look, let me tell y'all guys. Can I be real with y'all real quick? Let me be real with y'all. You have to watch this in the eyes of Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Don't love nobody. Don't get attached to nobody. Just watch the damn show. Because I was like, I like this dude. This dude is cool, man. And then I love Blind Samurais, right? Like that's taking me back to the original Blind Samurai, right? If you don't know, it's Ichi, right? It's Ichi, the Blind Samurai. Go back, watch it. It's like awesome acting, man. It's like one of the greatest. Like if you see, the thing is, like, the Oscars really don't look outside of the U.S. for Oscars, right? But man, this one, if it was ever in the Oscar, if it was ever U.S. released and really captured that time, would have won Oscars. Like that's how good. Like there's action, drama, comedy. It's just everything involved, right? So I'll get back on my topic. So I love Blind Samurais, right? That being said, it's dude, you love that character, man. You love the characters, man. And then oh man, when she went bah, 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 I was like, this is Demon Slayer all over again. Why? Why? It's okay, spoiler alert. If you don't know, we recapped it, so watch yourself. That being said, when that homeboy died, I was like, God, this hurts, man. It really did. I was like, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots, and he was dead, man. I was like, oh Lord. I was like, no way.
Holes all over.
Yeah, no way you come back from 6 holes, man.
He looked like Swiss cheese out there. I was like, oh man, he's done for.
Yeah, and then they caught his master with his throat, slicing his throat. It was just like, oh man, this whole episode could have been called no voice, man. Like our voice,
Yeah.
That would have been more impactful than student and master, if it would have been called voice, man. Because it was just everything was said and nothing was said out loud, right? Yeah. That's truly everything was said within their heads. Like this is masterful storytelling, right? They gave us his whole entire life story in one episode, Vinland Saga, and they explained it very well and very eloquently to us, and then all the emotional content that it goes involved with the story, right? They gave it all to us, all contained in one episode. His birth to his death, all in one episode,
Yeah.
and it was so well done. You know, like we felt so much for this character. You're like, oh man, you could cheer this character on, right? And then, God, they just rip them right out of there, man. Like I was just
Yeah.
like, why?
He
Why
got that
waste
boy.
this time on this story? It was rough. I was saddened. I was no
It
legit.
was
I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. I was sad. I was just like, I got done and I was just like, what did I just watch, man? I was like, why
yeah.
they do that? You know, why they like I was like that little girl, man. I was crying, man. I was like, why, man? Like, this was gonna be that upbeat guy in the group, you know, this upbeat samurai in the group. But yeah, so just to throw in a little more context for my loathing, not my loathing, but my sorrow for his death. Um, so Tenzin, he ended up dying, right? They told the story. He's basically his backstory of living, as a poor villager. His parents were degenerates. They didn't care about him living on the streets. He had that wild upbringing, and then he slowly evolved into a student, a master, a samurai, right?
Yeah.
And which was great. His teacher Shion, showed him, picked him up from a very young age, and started showing him how to deal with his emotions, how to, where to channel his anger, where to channel his skills and his potential, right? And that's the hardest part, man. Man, whenever he kept going back and saying, "Man, what was my potential?" I was like, God. Damn, that was so good. Man, it was just good storytelling, man. So, and then Noodle Guy, which is the little girl, she basically, she loves this dude because, yeah, man, I mean, he has so much potential to be so great in his life, and then it was cut. But we have to remember that's the whole point of Hell's Paradise, right? It's like, everything can be, everything beautiful can just die in the middle of
Yep.
seconds, right? And that's one of the great things about Hell's Paradise, man. I mean, that's one of the great things about this whole entire endeavor, right? Is like how something like oh, not to get sappy with y'all, but like, it's the way to me to feel like the theme is like they use flowers as an imagery in this whole entire concept of Hell's Paradise, and that's how flowers live. They bloom, they're beautiful for a day, not even days, sometimes hours, seconds, and then they die. They start withering and dying, right? And that's the same thing, the concept of all these characters, right? We see them grow and bloom and then they die. So
Yeah.
it's like that's what happens, man. That's what happens, man. So what was your thoughts, man? What was going on, man?
Beautiful episode, beautiful storytelling. One of those that truly I felt like played with the strings of your heart, like seeing the storytelling of it, of his past, how he saved him, and then whenever he even questioned him, like, why are you protecting this, child and this girl? And he's like, I see potential in her and all that stuff. And so then his master's like, you know what, I get it, this and that. And then to like hear her call him master, and then boom, death. And then boom, it's like, they're building that next story of it where he's like, we're gonna get revenge, don't worry. And it's like, okay, now you're building that piece of what you needed for them to grow even more. But it was just like, oh, like you're seeing it, and I like it too because we've seen it in multiple episodes now of different, like I guess hermits and everything on the island going up against. Because we are always like, well, who's on the island? Where are they at on the island? Different places,
Mm-hmm.
and so now they're showing us that like what each group's having to go through and what adversity they're having to go through to deal with it. And
Right.
so, oh man, it's setting up so nicely and on it. I'm enjoying it for sure.
Oh man, for sure. This is one like it by far is one of the better episodes. Like
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. I think they have two bad episodes, or not bad, just not very good
yeah.
episodes.
And we had
Not
one of
compared to
all
everything
story,
else,
so
right?
yeah,
Huh?
we had one of all story. I mean, we needed it, but it was like,
Yeah, exactly. And then I think it was oh man, I don't have the list up, but yeah, it was like another one that was just like it was mediocre. It wasn't like all
yeah,
that great, right? Um oh my okay, so it was Hell in Paradise was okay, and then the other one was Heart and Reason was the other one that was the whole story bit,
yeah,
and then we jumped right into Flowers and Offerings, which was good, and then now this one, Student and Master, which was real good. So hey man, and there were like bad episodes. It was just like
no,
it wasn't like this episode. It wasn't
yeah,
like the Samurai and the Woman. It wasn't like that.
yeah,
Our screening and choosing when everybody was like in the middle killing each other. It was like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not like those. So it's that kind of thing, right? So they're not just bad; they're just not good to the rest of them. Now, what are you give this one? Oh, man, that's 4.7, man. 4.7. It was like on the verge of being like a five. Like there was this core lacking thing in there. Like if I could
yeah,
put my finger on it, that would be great, right? But it was just like when you were watching it, you're like, oh man, yeah, that's sad and everything. That's good and everything. The action was good. It's just, but you were just like, I guess they just like when they fought that monster, it really, or that Tenzin, it just really like the hopelessness was so overwhelming.
yeah,
You knew they were gonna die.
yeah.
Like
Somebody was
it's
dying
like
right then and there.
yeah,
Yeah,
it just gloomed that episode because like you knew they can't survive. So it
yeah,
was like because we know that to this point we know there's no way to kill these guys, right? There's
yeah,
like no way. So we know they're going to die. We know they're not strong enough to disappear like the way Gamimaru is, right? Like he's able to like outrun them at least. Like they're not. So that's the kind of sad thing, right? It was like so hopefully he comes back and he's reincarnated or something like that, or they find she's like takes pity on him and gives him the elixir of life or something like that. I don't know, man. I'm hoping, bro. I'm hoping because
they,
it was a rough one, man. That was a rough episode, man. I ain't gonna lie to you,
yeah.
man.
That was that you said it best in the beginning. Game of Thrones type of episode for sure. Like,
No, Game of Thrones, period, man.
well, yeah. I mean, it is.
You have to watch
Yeah,
this thing like Game of
yeah,
Thrones. Like I
yeah.
learned
No.
my lesson.
When
I
we
learned
when we
my
were like, oh, these people are expendable, and then some of
yeah,
the people we thought were they
yeah.
weren't. I was like,
Dude,
oh
when
man,
Renji died, okay, his real name isn't Renji, but I call him Renji
yeah,
because he looks just like Renji.
just like him.
Yeah. When Renji died, I was like, this this is over, man. This this whole thing is done.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I can't. I love nobody in this, man. I ain't even loving
No
Gamibaru
favorite.
in this, man.
Yeah, no favorites.
Yeah, like I can't even love this dude because it's like I'm gonna give heart crush, man. That being said, man, definitely 4.7 in my book, man. What do you think, man? Where are you landing on this one?
Yeah, I feel like 4.5 is too low. I would say 4.6, 4.7 is the range for sure. Um, you said it best. The overwhelming like defeat of it was kind of like if I felt there was a way for them to win, I would have been like, "Oh man, this war is gonna be a little better." But it kind of just felt like a massacre the whole time,
Right,
and so I was like, "Ugh, all right." But I mean, I still respected the storyline of it, and then they didn't harp too much. I mean, they went back and forth, and then went to story, then back and forth on flashbacks, went to story, and all that stuff. But it felt like it was the right places like when he was like about to die and he's reminiscing on like his what his potential was and how he was doing this for his master and this and that like it every flashback had a point to it to that next part of what was going to happen. And so I think that was really good. I mean, if it would have had, I guess, something a little extra or them like all three of them fighting or something, then I would have raised it a bit more. But I mean, all in all, it was a great episode.
right.
It was like it's one I'm probably gonna end up watching again tomorrow just to get another eye on it.
Right, absolutely, man. Yeah, it was especially whenever he releases like I guess his ultimate technique, right?
Yeah,
And started going at it, it's like God, you're rooting for it, at least to do something, right? But I mean, in the end, it was nothing, man. It was like you knew that he was gonna die, right? But yeah, it was a good one. So there is an article that just came out with it. It's called "Deep Dive into Hell's Paradise." Anime explains on the beautiful manga art. So they get into how the creators of the manga are praising the creators of the anime, how they're really keeping true to the stylistics of the manga, the feel, the tone of it. They're not changing a lot to it. So they're really praising them on this. They think it's they're doing a wonderful job. So that being said, if you're watching the manga, if you're reading the manga, you're definitely gonna really enjoy the anime because it's gonna be just the way it's like. It's just gonna be right off of there. And that's Mappa in a whole, right? Because they get praise from Attack on Titan, they get praise for Jujutsu Kaisen, they get praise for all of theirs, all of their work. Even the one that we rank on all the time, man, the Vinland
yeah,
Saga, right? Like they get praise on it, man. It's just like it feels half and half. Sometimes the storyline is really great, and then the other half is like it could drag on forever. So, so there are more if you're interested, right? This is coming from there. There are more animation books that Hell's than just Hell's Paradise, right? There's the Ayakashi Samurai Horror Tales, which is them. There's the Ao Bungaku, which is that part of like the team that created Hell's Paradise, right? There's Helsing's Ultimate or Blade of the Immortal. So like if we go back and watch all those, like those are all within the same realm of Hell's Paradise. So,
yeah,
like, I think it would be beneficial if you go back and watch those animes or read those mangas, and I think we have a better contextualized experience for Hell's Paradise because it is sometimes like we're when we're best. Remember when all the monsters were coming towards them, and we're like, why is this like this? Why is this like this? If you were to like read those, mangas or watch those animes, like then you'll catch a sense of why those yokai are doing what they're doing, right?
yeah,
And I'm using yokai like as in the sense like demons and ghosts, right? They're demons and ghosts in Japan's folklore, right? So that being said, yeah, Hell's Paradise by sure, man. If Demon Slayer, which I think it will come out swinging tomorrow, I mean, I think this is never mind. Oshinoko probably gonna be number one again. So I still haven't caught up on that one, man. I've been so busy. Oshinoko one, Demon Slayer 2, Hell's Paradise 3 is my prediction for next week.
yeah.
Unless the stupid list already came out. Did it already come out, Nick? Do you already know the answers to these?
It did. The number one came out already,
Oh,
but I wasn't gonna bring it up because then we're gonna harp on it for like 20
yeah,
minutes,
yeah,
and I'll
exactly.
save it
All
for
right, all
you.
right, all right, all right,
But
all right. Okay.
number one, yes, is for the fifth time. Yeah,
Fifth time. Oh my god. I think it, oh yeah. I think it dropped off a couple of times. Yeah, you are
yeah,
right. Yeah. It is out as of yet. Man, they're a day ahead of us. How can we beat them? We got to start on a Thursday.
I gotta start. We gotta just right when it comes out. Just it's like I don't know what Demon Slayer did yet, but it's gonna
I
be
mean, yeah,
good.
I don't even know how
Yeah.
Demon Slayer is in third place, man. I know. Okay. All right, let's go back. All right. So I know. Like, how are they closing the polls? Then the show hasn't even came out for us. Let the Americans watch it first. Let us watch it. Then we can vote on it, man. So all right, man. So yeah, that being said, man, yeah, everything's good, man. Oh, you know what they're probably doing? You know what they're probably doing? Demon Slayer's number first episode of the week for them.
That's probably true.
Demon Slayer's first because you know what? I'm looking at the art and
The
it was
art
last,
picture, yeah, it's
it was last week's art picture. So theirs must be Demon Slayer, Vinland Saga, and then go on from there like that.
So they're using
So
Sunday as their start
as
date.
the first of the week, yeah, and we're using Monday as
Yeah.
the first of the week, yeah. That makes
a lot more sense.
Makes sense how this polling is being closed now.
Yeah.
I like Oshinoko. So, all right, let's go. Let's move on. All right. So, well, man, that wraps us up for today. Tomorrow we'll be back, of course, finishing off the rest of the week of the episodes that we watch. And then on top of that, closing out the polls, any good news that came out for the week. Just as a reminder, I was going to mention tomorrow, but I'm going to throw it out there since we're on Hell's Paradise. Nick brought it out to my attention that this Saturday, there's no episode for it. It's going to be coming out in June 3rd. It's going to be the next one. So episode 9, June 3rd. So if you don't know, now you know, right? So we're not going to have that Hell's Paradise. So, and there's no reason. I already researched it. Until they come out with a reason, then hopefully tomorrow I have it. But yeah, I haven't seen no reason for it. But yeah, man, other than that, man, we're good to go. Our grill was kind of hot tonight. It was, you know, like we didn't get no filet mignons. We didn't even get a ribeye. It was more like a New York strip tonight, like New York strip steak. Yeah. You know, like you're on third list. You know, like people say they love it, but like until you really read like a ribeye, a good ribeye, a tomahawk steak, you know, then you're like, oh man, there's more better steaks than New York strips.
Yeah.
Like you go to Waffle House and you can get a New York strip. That's all I'm saying. All right. Let me get out of here, man. It's late. All right. Well, anime fans, we love y'all. Thank you very much. Please like, subscribe, through all the social medias, right? Let us know your thoughts, comments, and subscribe. That's what we need y'all to do is like and subscribe and comment. That's how to get us in the algorithm so that we could definitely be good resources for everybody else. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions, any concerns, any things like that. We're here for you. We want to address them. We want to go ahead and make your show better as well as make any content that y'all want us to talk about, right? So let us know what y'all think, and then we'll go from there. All right. Nick, anything on this little chopping block?
Nah, just what he said. Follow us on all our networks, and we done. We out. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Peace.
Later.
How much I'm working for this? I swear my dreams are too important.